Hello and welcome to A Brit Reacts to Bollywood, and to all of my friends in Asia and around the world. Hello, namaste, assalamu alaikum. A pleasure to have you here. I am looking at BBC Asian Network's top 100 Bollywood film songs from a popular vote. And today I'm looking at the song JAI SHIV SHANKAR from the film AAP Ki Kasam. I don't know anything about this. This is an education in the process of watching all these films. I'm going to look briefly at the entry on Wikipedia for this. And AAP Ki Kasam means, in English, I swear by you. It's a 1974, we're in the 70s, Indian Hindi romance film. And it's the directorial debut of J. Prakash. It's got a very slender plot where Kamal Bhatnagar, Rajesh Khanna, is a jealous husband who begins to doubt the fidelity of his wife Sunita, Mumtaz. Quite a common storyline, I imagine, for a lot of films. When his best friend Mohan, played by Sanjeev Kumar, enters their lives, Sunita is unable to convince Kamal that she loves only him. He leaves her. It's not going well, is it? Not knowing that she is pregnant with his child. Depressed and confused, Kamal becomes a homeless wanderer, while Sunita remarries to provide a secure home for her child. Many years later, the truth dawns on him as he turns up a broken man at his own daughter's wedding. This is very interesting, and it puts me in mind of an EastEnders plot or something. It's a simple case of misunderstanding, and his sort of heroic flaw is his paranoia and lack of trust and fear of betrayal, and he ruins his life as a result. It's a really interesting concept. It's a very simple plot to draw out into a whole film. I love that this is, I presume, turning into the heyday of Bollywood, the early 70s. Big distribution, mass audiences. And I presume this is like so many plots in Hollywood, this is one of those, which are obsessed with kind of the relationship between a parent and their children, and that often underlies whole other plots, but it's that idea of that anxiety that plagues people in maybe Western countries, the idea of whether they're abandoning their children or giving their children enough attention, or messing their children up and stuff like that. It's that idea of relationships, and here we have what presumably is a very common anxiety in India, certainly in those decades, which is one of trust within a relationship, and the parameters of marriage, and the anxieties of marriage, and the pressures of marriage, and the responsibilities of marriage and parenthood. And I think it's really interesting, her faithfulness, and I just think it's really a real kind of snapshot of that society at that time. So, with that in mind, let's look at this song, which presumably will communicate some of this, and it's JAI SHIV SHANKAR. Oh my gosh.
Jai Jai Shiv Shankar
very 70s aesthetic. Oh wow. Who are these guys? There's a lot of life in these people. What is this beautiful location? It looks like the Himalayas. There's a lot of life in this. Energy, colour. She's amazing. They all look a bit psychedelic.
शिव शंकर काटा लगे न कंकर ये प्याला तेरे नाम का पिया.
This is like a dreamland they're in. It looks like Nepal because the dancers look Nepalese. It's a very particular costume aesthetic. It is like a kind of psychedelic dream. Very 70s.
शिव शंकर काटा लगे न कंकर ये प्याला तेरे नाम का पिया.
This is the most experimental thing I've seen here. The colours are primary, bright colours. Everything is as new. It's like it's representing that explosion of excitement and joy at the start of a relationship. I love it. This has to be like Nepal or somewhere. These crazy characters. Well, I mean, what do we say about that? I think it's a real sign of like how Bollywood was developing at that point, and it's probably taken a page out of the West's book in terms of the psychedelic influence of 60s filmmaking. You could really see that in this. It is really like, it's like they've gone to a new age meditation retreat and they've all taken mushrooms and gone mental up a hill. You know what I mean? And it, in the most beautiful way, because it's so absurd as to be making a point, and it's massively extravagant and loving life, and that really says to me that this is like a brilliant, beautiful romance. I thought her and the lead actor and the actress were just brilliant for that. They really had a chemistry, and they really suited that kind of wild abandon and the comedy of it and the absurdity of it and all these random characters who appeared in it and the dances and stuff. It really was like going beyond the realms of like naturalism and like just expressing real life. It was like expressing a dream perception of life, and I love that. Again, it's that thing of like with last week's last episode with Raj Kapoor, that you see the plot and it's got a very tragic bent, and then you see the song and it's completely a different energy. And I wonder then if it's like the songs are a form of energy lifters while telling this wider context of tragedy and sort of moral lesson. And I can only presume that after this song, then you see the relationship kind of challenged and stuff. I'm so intrigued by that. And I'd love to get feedback from my friends in India as to what that is. And I might like to actually watch the whole film to get a sense of that. And obviously the remit of this show is to look at the particular songs within those films. But I could feedback on that. I'd be really interested to develop a wider look at it. I'm loving it, guys. I mean, 70s India and Bollywood just sounds the most wild place. I thank you all from the bottom of my heart for your support and for your subscribing. Please continue to give me ideas for future things to watch. This is classic Bollywood I'm watching, and I will be watching a wider selection, but I'm letting you know now, I'm going to finish that 100. And you're welcome along for the ride. To all of my friends in India and around the world, much love. Goodbye.